For years, she stayed in the background. While headlines exploded, while names were linked and unlinked, while emotions became public property, Yaman's mother chose silence. Not because she didn't see what was happening. Not because she didn't feel the weight of it. But because sometimes, a mother's silence is the strongest form of protection. From the very beginning, she understood something the world refused to accept. What happened between Yaman and Demet Özdemir was never just a set romance, never just a rumor born under studio lights. It was personal. Deeply personal. Those close to the family say she noticed the change in her son long before the cameras did. The way his energy shifted. The way his laughter became quieter. The way certain questions made him retreat instead of shine. And always, one name lingered unspoken in the room. Demet. She never mentioned her publicly, never corrected the rumors, never fed the headlines. And people judged her for it. Why doesn't his mother say anything? Does she disapprove? Did she stop it? But the truth was far more complicated and far more emotional. Behind closed doors, she was watching her son struggle between love and pressure, between fame and feeling, between what the world wanted and what his heart wasn't ready to let go of. She saw him come home exhausted after long days on set, scrolling past headlines he pretended not to read. She saw him pause when Demet's name appeared on television, even when he acted indifferent. And she understood something every mother fears: this wasn't over. Not emotionally. Not for him. But she also knew something else, something dangerous. If she spoke too soon, if she said too much, if she allowed her own feelings to become public, she could push him further into silence. So she waited. Years passed. Projects changed. Countries changed. Faces around him changed. But that unspoken chapter remained. Until now. Because recently, something shifted. Those close to the family say she noticed it first: the restlessness, the late-night conversations, the sudden return of a name she hadn't heard spoken aloud in years. And when she was finally asked, directly, about Can and Demet, she didn't deny it. She didn't smile it away. She paused. And that pause said more than any headline ever could. When she finally spoke again, her voice was calm. Too calm for someone who had carried years of unspoken emotion. Those who know Yaman's mother say that calmness is her shield. It always has been. Because her fear was never about Demet. It was about what loving Demet had done to Can. She had watched him fall into that relationship not with caution, but with sincerity. He wasn't playing a role. He wasn't calculating headlines. He wasn't protecting himself the way fame had taught him to. He was just in love. And that scared her more than any rumor ever could. She remembered the nights he came home silent, the way he would sit at the table long after dinner was over, lost in thought. She remembered how easily he smiled when Demet's name came up and how quickly that smile disappeared when the world got too loud. Fame doesn't break people loudly. It does it slowly. And she saw it happening in real time. When the relationship became public, the pressure multiplied overnight. Every look was analyzed. Every pause was questioned. Every silence became a headline. And her son, who had always been strong, began to carry something heavier than work: expectation. People wanted a fairy tale. The media wanted a narrative. Fans wanted permanence. But love doesn't survive when it's forced to perform. She never blamed Demet. Not once. In private, she spoke of her with respect, even tenderness. She admired her discipline, her independence, her strength. Two people in love. Two careers exploding at the same time. And an entire world watching. To her, it was never a question of if something would break, only when. So when distance appeared, when silence replaced laughter, she didn't intervene. She let Can choose. And when the separation finally became real, she saw something that frightened her even more than heartbreak: he didn't heal. He worked. He traveled. He smiled. But the emotional chapter never closed. Years later, when asked if she believed the past was truly behind him, she didn't answer immediately. Instead, she said something small but devastatingly honest: some loves don't end. They just learn how to stay silent. And then came the sentence that made the room hold its breath. If Can and Demet were to fall in love again, she stopped herself. Not because she didn't know what to say, but because she knew exactly how powerful the rest of that sentence could be. The room stayed silent. Not the uncomfortable kind, but the kind that makes you feel like something irreversible is about to be said. If Can and Demet fall in love again, she repeated softly. Then she lifted her eyes. It cannot be the same. That was the condition. Not anger. Not disapproval. But fear, the kind only a mother carries. She explained that love the first time had been pure but unprotected. Two hearts exposed in a world that feeds on vulnerability. The second time would have to be different. No performances. No pressure. No promises made for the world to consume. If it happens again, she said, it must belong only to them. Because she had seen what public love had taken from him. And yet, she didn't deny the possibility. She didn't shut the door. She didn't call it impossible. Some connections don't disappear just because time passes. She admitted that Demet's name had never been erased from Can's emotional life. Not in anger. Not in bitterness. And then she revealed something no one expected: she had seen him change again recently. Restlessness. Familiar silences. A softness returning to his voice when he spoke about the past. She didn't say Demet's name. She didn't have to. When asked if she would support them if they chose each other again, her answer was honest. I would be afraid, she said. Afraid of the same pain. Afraid of the same pressure. Afraid of watching her son break quietly all over again. But then she added the sentence that changed everything: I would not stand in the way of love. And with that, the door was no longer closed. It was simply unguarded. Her words didn't spread like gossip. They spread like shockwaves. Within hours, entertainment circles were buzzing, not with speculation, but with something far more dangerous. Hope mixed with fear. Because this wasn't a random comment. This wasn't a misunderstood sentence clipped out of context. This was a mother opening a door she had kept closed for years. Producers talked quietly. Journalists rewatched the footage again and again, focusing not on what she said but on what she didn't deny. Friends close to Can noticed the shift immediately. The questions he usually avoided suddenly felt heavier, more direct. And then there was Demet. She didn't post anything. She didn't comment. She didn't react publicly. But silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. Those close to her say she heard the words the same way everyone else did, unexpectedly, without preparation. And for a moment, time seemed to fold back on itself. Because the sentence wasn't hypothetical. If Can and Demet fall in love again. That word mattered. It acknowledged a past that had never been erased. It confirmed something fans had whispered for years but never heard validated from someone so close to him. Demet, they say, didn't smile when she heard it. She didn't cry either. She just paused, the way someone pauses when an old wound suddenly feels familiar again. People who know her describe the reaction as quiet but intense. A long walk alone. Her phone left untouched for hours. A kind of reflection that doesn't come from drama, but from memory. Because she knew exactly what loving Can had cost her too. The pressure. The scrutiny. The feeling of living a private emotion in a public cage. And yet, just like him, she had never fully closed that chapter. She had protected it, hidden it, learned how to live around it. And now, suddenly, someone else had named it out loud. Not a journalist. Not a fan. But his mother. And that changed everything. In the days that followed, one truth became impossible to ignore. Nothing was confirmed. Nothing was announced. And yet, nothing felt finished. Yaman's mother never added another word. She didn't clarify. She didn't retract. She let her sentence stand exactly as it was, unfinished, powerful, and open-ended. Because that was the point. Love, she implied, cannot be planned. It can only be protected. And if it ever returned, it would need silence more than celebration. Those closest to can say he never commented publicly, but privately, something shifted. Not excitement. Not certainty. Just awareness. As if a truth that had lived quietly inside him had finally been acknowledged by someone else. A mother. Someone who had seen him before fame, before expectations, before heartbreak. And for the first time, she didn't say no. She said be careful. She said be different. She said don't let the world own it. And maybe that was the most powerful blessing she could give. As for Demet, she remained silent. But silence, this time, feels intentional. Not avoidance. Not denial. Protection. Because some stories don't need headlines to continue. They just need space. And maybe, just maybe, that unfinished sentence was never meant to be completed out loud. If Can and Demet fall in love again, the rest of that sentence belongs only to them.